Hey, and welcome to a very short tutorial / demo for a free rate calculator that I built for freelancers. I actually built it for myself first, but I thought it could be very useful for other people as well. But essentially, the short intro context to this is I really struggle to do pricing, think about pricing, still 6 years into my career as a freelancer. And I heard about this method called the profit first method, which is really fascinating. So essentially, most freelancers, we go income minus expenses equals profit. This flips it on its head so that you're doing income minus profit equals your expenses, essentially letting you choose how much you want to pay yourself first, and then the calculator works backwards to figure out what you then need to charge to cover your expenses, your taxes, etc. All of that will make sense once we get going, so let's jump in. The first thing we do is set our profit parameters. First, you pick your currency, the main one that you internally operate within, so not necessarily what you invoice in, but rather what you do for your own accounting. I invoice in many currencies, but I work in euros predominantly. Then, the big, beautiful question of how much you want to pay yourself per project. So essentially, what percentage of each project fee do you want to pay yourself? You can adjust and tweak this as you go, and you'll see later on what difference that makes, but I'm just going to put 50% for now. Then, tax deductions. This will obviously be different for every country. Mine has a tier system, which gets quite complicated, but I'm just going to put what an average would be. And then your savings buffer, which is essentially a little insurance for emergencies. 5% is recommended. You're obviously more than welcome to hit this higher or lower, but we'll leave it at 5% for now. So you can see we're sitting at 76, which means the other 24 will be for expenses, but we'll get there. Then we got to pick the working days. This is pretty standard. There are 260 weekdays, 104 weekends this year. In Germany, there are 10 public holidays, so I will make a note of that. You can also pick your desired holiday time. If you know you're going to have some weddings and stuff, maybe you want to be a little bit higher. And then sick leave buffer, again, depending on how often you get sick, you can tweak this higher and lower, but currently we are sitting at 201 working days, so days where I will actually be working. Then it comes to filling out our expenses. This can be a little bit tedious, but it does actually go quite quickly. I put in essentially what I pay for cell phone, internet, rent, utilities, my average household groceries, childcare, pension, medical aid don't apply to me, so I'll leave those blank. Neither do transport, vehicle insurance, bank fees. Neither do the rest, except for an accountant, which I pay yearly, but I'm just going to divide by 12 and work that out to what a per month expense would be. That's important. It needs to be a monthly expense. And then it's time to pick all the different subscriptions and tools and apps that I pay for. If there are some that you use that aren't on this list, you're welcome to add them yourself. And then they all just need a value. So I'm not exactly sure what these are, but I'm just going to put in some mock values for now. So cool, we've got our expenses list done, and now it gets exciting. Here we can see what the total month expenses are, and that also is converted into a year. And now the magic happens on our rate calculator on the last tab. So here you can see it has calculated an average, what an optimal hourly rate should be, and an optimal daily rate should be. And here you can see that breakdown based on what we put into our parameters. So there it is, 50% profit, and our tax and our savings, plus our expenses are covered. Now, if I were to say, actually, I want to take 70% of each project fee for myself, you can see it has increased and quite a lot increased the hourly and daily rates. So this is where you can start playing around and tweaking. You also get the conversions for those, which is really useful. I know I often invoice in other currencies, so you can see what that works out to be. This is always actual as well because of the Google Sheets calculator. The other thing is I generally do project rates, not hourly rates. So that's where this little thing comes into play. Let's say if I was estimating to work 10 hours a day, no, that's irrelevant. Let's say 8 hours a day let's say the project will be about a month. So that's 20 work days. It gives you what a minimum project fee should be based on our hourly and daily rates. If I go back and I change this to 50% project fee, you can see it has reduced this again. So this is tweaking and adjusting based on our expenses, our tax, and our desired profit. But it puts our profit first, which is really, really important in this. If you have any questions, please let me know. But this is a free to use tool. You can copy it into your Google Drive and get tweaking, get playing, get adjusting. Hopefully this is at least not necessarily a silver bullet, but it gives you some sort of baseline to work from and at least have some confidence that you're charging what you need to earn what you want to be earning. Have fun.